Poker is one of the world's most popular card games and is played by people in almost every field. Of course, if something exists, there's bound to be someone trying to break or create a world record attached to it, and poker is no different. Here are some of the most amazing records in the world of poker. Number 1. The longest poker marathon. Phil Lack made poker history on June 7, 2010 by getting his name into the Guinness Book of World Records with the record for poker endurance when he managed to play poker for 115 consecutive hours. That's nearly 3 traditional work weeks compacted into just 5 days. The record was set at the Bellagio in Las Vegas in a 10-20 no-limit Texas Hold'em game, and several notable players were seated at the table, including Scotty Wynn, Antonio Esfandiari, and Andrew Roble. The rules of the record attempt were simple. The entire session must be videotaped, witnesses must be present, and a 5-minute break is allowed every hour with the option of accumulating unused break minutes. While he vowed he did not consume any caffeine or stimulants, he did manage at least one 30-minute nap. The game was witnessed live via webcam by more than 130,000 people each day from more than 90 nations. He had a nutritionist providing meals every 5 hours, and he has been on a strict, no-sweet, low-fat diet since January to prepare for the feat. He had a rough start and at one point was only playing with $800 in front of him after going bust twice and rebuying short. Halfway through the challenge, he bought in for $100,000 and played with the oversized stack for the rest of the game. By the end of the marathon session, he ended up with a profit of $6,766. He donated all of his winnings to Camp Sunshine, a camp that allows kids with severe illness to attend a camp just like normal kids would, but with 24-hour medical personnel on hand. At one point, after playing for 2.5 days, a friend offered to donate $1,000 to Camp Sunshine if Phil Lack dropped and did 30 push-ups. He pulled it off no problem and made some extra cash for the kids. The previous record was held by Paul Zimbler, who played for 78 hours and 25 minutes in September of 2009. However, there is a slight controversy with the record held by Phil Lack. In 2012, Barry Denson from the UK was able to smash the record by 5 hours. An ex-soldier, Denson lasted 120 hours and 20 minutes. However, Denson's feat was accomplished at play money action, which certainly does not compare to playing poker with real money on the line, and hence Phil Lack officially holds the record for the longest session in poker. Number 2. The largest online poker tournament. PokerStars is the world's largest online poker room, and so it shouldn't come as a surprise to learn that they hold the record for the largest ever online poker tournament. Technically, this record had been broken many times by PokerStars, 6 times to be exact. The first time in 2008 with 35,000 players, second in 2009 with 65,000, third in 2009 with 150,000 players, the fourth time in 2011 with 200,000 players, the fifth time in 2013 with 225,000 players, and finally, the official record stands at 253,692 players on October 5th, 2015, and was organized by the PokerStars UK in the Isle of Man. After 470 hands, the eventual winner was Daduman from Austria, who won $10,000. Number 3. The longest continuous poker tournament. The longest continuous poker tournament lasted for 48 hours and 55 minutes and was organized by the Asian Poker Tour in the Philippines from 13 to 15 December 2013 and attracted a total of 115 entries, shattering the previous record of 36 hours and 34 minutes set in Delaware, USA. The total prize pool was $71,400. The main event was won by Damon Schellenberger of USA, taking home a share of $18,240 as first prize. Number 4. Most hands played in 8 hours. A member of Team PokerStars, Randy Liu, also known as Nananoko, had been one of the most feared online poker players back in the day, and during the PCA, he decided to set a new world record by playing as many hands as possible during 8 hours while making a profit. While the record was eventually set at 24,493 hands after 8 hours, the profit shown was just $7.65. In fact, at one point, Randy was down $1,200 and it looked like the record was pretty far out of his reach. At that point, he started playing NL 1000 tables, which allowed him to recoup his losses and squeeze by the tiny profit. He was camped out in front of 2 monitors on a stage inside the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, the site of the 2012 PCA. His time at the tables earned him 23,000 frequent player points on PokerStars. To celebrate Nananoko's achievement, PokerStars set up a $5,000 free roll tournament and automatically registered everyone who played more than 100 hands against him during the challenge. Number 5. Biggest pot in televised poker history. Tom Dwan has won and lost numerous massive pots during his brilliant poker career, but there's one hand he'd certainly like to forget. Taking place in 2018 at the Triton Super High Roller Series, Tom Dwan lost a pot that exceeded $2.3 million, making it the largest televised poker hand in history. Tom Dwan competed in the 2018 Triton Super High Roller Series $1 million buy-in cash game against some of the big names of poker such as Jason Koon and Dominic Nitsch. Paul Fua was the straddle when Nitsch opened up with King-Queen under the gun. Dwan, wearing a trucker hat, 3-bets his Ace-Queen in the big blind. This was music to Paul Fua's ears, who wasn't about to slow play the pre-flop nuts against a loose aggressive player like Dwan. The billionaire fired off a 4-bet. Tom Dwan, as the Triton commentator Lex Veldhaus said, may have thought Fua was trying to get cute using Dwan's table image against him. So instead of just flat calling with nearly over 430,000 in the pot, he tanked and then moved all in for a total of nearly $1.2 million. And Paul Fua snap called. The players opted to run it just one time and the board ran out 7 King 4-3 Queen, giving Paul Fua the $2.35 million pot, the largest in televised poker history. Number 6. Most online poker tables played in 1 hour. In 2009, France's Bertrand Grospellier went for a World Sit and Go record during the EPT Grand Final in Monte Carlo. Elke had 60 minutes to open as many Sit and Go tournaments as possible. All the tournaments were turbo Sit and Goes with a $6.5 buy-in. After 60 minutes, Elke was allowed to finish the tournaments that had already started. There would only be a valid record if Elke was able to finish with a profit. There were no requirements about the amount of profit, so even 1 cent would have been enough. It was the PokerStars pros themselves who urged their sponsor to carry out this promotion during the 2009 EPT Grand Final, and they handpicked Elke to do it. Elke himself seemed a bit intimidated by the challenge. Fellow team pro George Danzer offered to bet $10,000 on Elke losing the challenge, but Elke refused to take it. Grospellier had 4 24-inch monitors at his disposal, enough to play 36 tables simultaneously. Still, he couldn't keep pace and started timing out on several tables during the most intense half of the challenge. Elke had played 62 $6.5 sit and goes and invested $403. His final profit was $23.90. If Elke hadn't won the very last SNG for $27 and his world record would not have been valid. Thanks to his rakeback contract as a team pro, he received 100% equals to 50 cents per tournament. He actually made more money on rakeback, which was $31. Number 7. Highest number of ITMs in a year. While attending the Boya Poker Tournament in Taiwan in 2018, Edward Yam broke the world record for the most cashes in a calendar year. The record was previously held by Park Yu Cheung with 67 cashes in 2017. When Yam broke the record in 2019, the year was not even complete. Amazingly, Edward Yam finished that year with an insane 226 ITM finishes. Number 8. The largest winning streak. In December 1992, Greek-American Archie Karras arrived in Las Vegas, USA with $50 in his pocket. By early of 1995, he had turned those $50 into $40 million by playing pool, poker, and dice. It's the largest winning streak in history and even has its own name in the gambling lore known as the Run. Pool and poker are games of skill. However, his dice addiction, a high variance game at the best of times, accounted for half of his fortune in short order. Then came the Baccarat tables, which took another $17 million from him. And finally, when Archie Karras was down to his last million, he made a terrible decision that cost him the remainder of his money and dignity. He headed to the Bicycle Club in LA and played Johnny Chan heads up. As soon as Karras arrived, a game was quickly arranged. Berman backed Chan, but both Berman and Chan played Karras heads up and alternated every 2 hours. Karras destroyed the tag team duo of Berman and Chan and doubled up. However, his inner action junkie could not prevent him from heading straight to the craps tables. Archie Karras kissed his last $2 million away shooting dice. Number 9. Greatest prize money won in a poker tournament. Bryn Kenny made poker history by winning the largest prize in live poker when he took second place in the Triton Million tournament with the biggest buy-in in poker history of $1.3 million. The Triton Million for charity was an event that happened as part of the Triton Super High Roller Series held in London. This tournament was only for those invited and professionals, but also allowed non-professional folks that were willing to stake fat sums of cash. What's more, the not-so-professional poker players were allowed to invite one professional player to the tournament. Both the professionals and amateurs were separated during the first 6 levels. Shortly after, the fields were combined and the tournament went on as normal. Thanks to the deal in the top 2, Bryn Kenny received more than a champion Aaron Zhang, namely $20.5 million. After this win, he doubled his already considerable amount of prize money in his career and immediately topped the list of the most profitable player on the Poker All-Time Money list, overtaking Justin Bonomo. Number 10. Biggest online poker winner. It is no surprise at all that the man considered the best player in the world is also officially the biggest winner online. Phil Ivey may not use a HUD or play 16 tables at a time, but he's always where the biggest game is, and when the biggest games were online, he cleaned up. His official winnings on his Full Tilt account is a staggering $19.24 million. This took place over 5,377 sessions and 319,285 hands. This profit is almost double that of his biggest rival, Patrick Antonius, who was in second place with $11.3 million. Number 11. Biggest online poker loser. There is little that can be said about the Great Dane's brutal online results that hasn't been said before. Unlike his prolific live cash gameplay, Gus Hansen could not catch a break when he was in front of a screen, the number 20 million with a minus sign quite capable of breaking a lesser man. Sometime during April of 2009, Gus Hansen dipped into the red and steadily spiraled out of control. By October of 2010, he was down $10 million online. After hitting what seemed to be rock bottom, he began an incredible comeback that saw him erase over $7 million of that deficit. Then Black Friday hit and Hansen didn't play online until late 2012. Once Full Tilt relaunched, Gus Hansen picked up where he left off, but in the wrong direction. From November of 2012 to March of 2015, Gus Hansen dropped over 17 million online to bring his career losses to $20.7 million. This video is powered by Bluff the Spot, the best place to learn how to win at poker from actual high-stake coaches like MMA Sherdog. Check the link in the description.